Today is December 7th, 2020. It is week 4 of Coach Potatoes and week 14 of the NFL.
Yeah, that's right. We are almost done with this.
We're in it, yeah. It's getting toward the end game at this point.
This is insane. The season went by way too quick, way too many bumps in the road, way too much craziness. But what we got started for us today, Dallas?
Well, I think through all those bumps, we're kind of seeing one guy that we want to shout out as the guy.
Yeah, I think the one you might say has had some of the most bumps, you know?
Yeah.
With Jordan Love being drafted and them still not drafting a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers.
Any offensive help.
Any offensive help. I mean, honestly, even like an offensive lineman, maybe something.
Tight end.
No. You know, first pick, quarterback. Second pick, running back.
We're going to trade up. We're going to trade up and get a quarterback.
Yeah, and the second pick, I think, is even worse because they got a running back, and they already had Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and I mean, this guy's, of course, discount double check, Tuesday talker, mustard slinger, Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, the State Farm representative, Aaron Rodgers.
I'd get insurance from him.
Also known as a quarterback.
He does that?
He does it sometimes.
He does it well.
He slings the rock, but he sells insurance first. Him and Pat Mahomes. They're both insurance salesmen first.
Both great quarterbacks.
Yeah, but the whole point of this segment is just to let everyone know that we're both really high on Aaron Rodgers for our MVP right now. He is our front runners for MVP. Dallas might pull something out in the conspiracy corner.
We'll see.
We will see. He will see as he smiles. So what do we got next, Dallas?
Well, we always like to look back at our Fast 5 review. A tough AFC South fight was Indy and Texans. Ended 26-20 going to the Colts.
Yeah.
We were both really close. I said 24-21. You said 20-21. So kind of right there in the right ballpark, just not really the right kind of scores.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in Deshaun Watson. I've been high on him since he beat Alabama at Clemson, and then in championship for just to add that as well.
I wasn't expecting him to have this season when Hopkins left. Straight up, I didn't think Will Fuller would be that guy, and I don't know if he is. But offensively, he doesn't have a lot around him, and he just makes it work.
Yeah, I'm not sure if any of his wide receivers are the guy. You know, Brandon Cooks can't keep his head on. Will Fuller can't keep his legs straight. So, we got crooked walk and several concussions. So we'll see how those two wide receivers end up.
Well, he's got David Johnson in the backfield.
Oh, yeah, I mean, would you rather have David Johnson or DeAndre Hopkins? I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean, Bill O'Brien had an answer.
Yeah, and, not a very popular answer for some reason. But, either way, I think Deshaun Watson is that guy. He will continue to be that guy. He might end up being the Matt Stafford of the Texans, unfortunately, because who else is going to be there for him,
They have to make a lot of smart choices this offseason.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to do that. They need to pick up someone like Eric Bieniemy, get an offensive mind in there, because I think someone who can capitalize on Deshaun Watson's talent and athleticism now before he gets rusty is going to be really helpful.
I think there's a chance that Adam Gase could be looking for a job this offseason, and I would love to see that offensive mind get his hands on Deshaun Watson.
I think if any AFC South team is going to pick up Adam Gase, it's going to be the Jaguars.
Okay, yeah.
The Jaguars are the defunct team that's like, if you got a 0-12 record.
Oh, Tom Coughlin, get in here.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, that's the only team I could see taking that trash can of a coach.
So long as one does, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
From there, though, Rams and Cardinals was a fun game to watch. Did you watch any of that one?
I didn't watch a lot. I saw a little bit. I saw Darrell Henderson break out for a huge run.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that, unfortunately, Kyler ate the MVP. Kyler was my number 2 a few weeks ago, but he ain't it. It's getting too close to crunch time, and I don't really think the Cardinals are going to go to the playoffs. And it's hard to be MVP if you're not even like in the playoff conversation.
Yeah.
I think they're still in the conversation, but I'm not going to predict them to go to the playoffs.
And when you're playing your best football, at least for the MVP race sake, you have to do it in December. Even if you play well in November, people aren't going to remember that 2 weeks later when you're fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, it's just too much right now. I think the Rams aren't necessarily those guys. You know, I think that the Seahawks might be a little bit better than the Rams. I think honestly, the Seahawks losing this week. We'll talk about them in a minute, but I don't necessarily know if it's more of the Seahawks are bad or the Giants are just sneaky good.
Well, I wasn't even close on this game. You were the closest, 24-27. You said the Rams would take it, which they did.
Yeah.
Jared Goff had a better game than I thought. Did you think he was going to show up?
I think Jared Goff is a systematic kind of guy where I don't want to call him a system QB, but he thrives in a system because he can make some big throws here and there as long as he's not under pressure.
Got a rushing touchdown too.
Yeah.
You convinced me to start him in fantasy, and he showed up.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Jared Goff is a terrible quarterback. I think he's just he's not going to be top 5 forever.
Yeah.
But real quick, I wanted to mention with the Rams. What was I going to say? Dang it.
Oh, no.
I lost it. No, I was trying to bring it back.
Bring it back.
I don't know. What were you going to say?
I was going to ask if you think it's a coaching issue, if you think it's it's a good team.
With the Cardinals or?
With the Rams.
With
Just
the Rams.
to touch with the Rams for a second.
Oh, no. I think the coaching is excellent. That's the only reason they're winning.
So what's the problem?
The problem with the Rams, I feel like they got into cap trouble a couple years ago with the Jalen Ramsey trade. They haven't had a first-round pick in a long time.
Yeah.
I think their biggest problem is going to be that they don't have a lot of talent. And I think that they have some talent. They got Robert Woods. They have Jared Goff, who's a subpar talent. They have Cam Akers, who's still progressing through injuries and whatnot. And, defensive guys such as Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
But they don't have a lot of, star, top 3 wideouts, top 3 running back kind of thing.
They've got a few studs, but not a robust hand of studs.
Yeah, I think if Derrick Henry was at the Rams right now, or if what's his name, Dalvin Cook.
Oh yeah,
I think they could really utilize him.
Aaron Jones, even I would if someone like that was in the backfield.
Yeah, maybe if they want to, they could possibly give us a first-round pick for Ezekiel Elliott. Just give him a new place. Maybe he'll get his abs back when he moves to LA.
I think a target like Zeke, like Melvin Gordon or Phillip Lindsay, one of those guys would be a smart move.
Kind of like middle-of-the-pack guys who were elite at one point.
Yeah, 1,000 yards easily could get under their belt again.
Absolutely.
Well, anything else you want to touch up on with the Rams and Cardinals?
I think that's it. Just my biggest point is just Kyler isn't the MVP this year. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
We'll give him some time, but we'll see for sure.
He's small, he's young, and he has a lot of football left.
I think he has the 3rd most 10-yard runs, 10 yards or more runs in the league right now.
Wow.
I think I read that earlier today. I think in front of him is Derrick Henry, and then I think it's Dalvin Cook, and then Kyler Murray.
I could believe that.
Yeah. But what's next, man?
From there, Saints, Falcons, kind of a slugfest. 21-16, the Drew Brees-less Saints come back, win it. Mm-hmm. We were both pretty close. I said 14-17, 24-17 was you. 21-16 final score. Sloppy ball, honestly.
It was really similar score to last time. I believe it was 21-9 last time around when they played a couple weeks ago. And my only point on this is Sean Payton's undefeated with backups. He's
so intelligent when it comes to his offensive scheme and what he wants to get done, no matter who's back there. Mm-hmm. Did Winston play at all? I didn't watch a lot of this game. I didn't watch a lot of football outside of my boys.
Yeah, your boys. They had a tragic one. We'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Sean Payton, I don't think they played Winston much.
Okay.
I think that Winston might have had a couple plays where they just could have put him in hey, here's a trick.
Yeah, so at that point it's just sort of Taysom Hill.
Yeah, this is Taysom Hill's team right now. I think he's shown himself to be the starter, a 30-year-old quarterback who does not run like he's 30, plays special teams. Really a unique story to the NFL right now.
Yeah, Mr. does it all.
Absolutely. I love the Swiss Army knife that is Taysom Hill, and I hope that he gets the starting job after Drew Brees. Just see what he does with just Taysom Hill for a whole season. I'd really love to see that next season.
Well, I think Sean Payton has already decided that's what's going to happen, is when Drew Brees is gone, whether that be next season or not, it is Taysom Hill's job.
That's what he said. But I feel like if Taysom Hill started all these games this year and threw 3 interceptions each game, it would be a much different story.
It's a different story than Teddy Bridgewater's chance with that offense last year.
Yeah, I think Teddy showed himself to be a good game manager, while Taysom Hill has showed himself to be a playmaker as well as somewhat of a game manager. He doesn't throw a lot, but he's able to make big plays with the run game as well.
And for the Falcons, just for a second, what is happening to that offense when you have Calvin Ridley, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, a competent committee running back?
I think that we should not underestimate the Falcons' offense and more look at the Saints' defense as for what it is. Because everyone wants to talk about Sean Payton and the Saints' offense right now, but the Saints' defense is pretty stellar at this moment. They've continued to be top 5 defense throughout this latter half of the season, and I think they'll continue to be into the playoffs. It's a good time for them to be heating up.
Yeah,
I just think that the Falcons have little coaching right now. I think the coaching staff probably doesn't have a firm grasp on the team right now. It's an interim head coach. And I think that the Saints' defense is really what showed this week. I don't think that the Falcons have a bad offense. I just think that the Saints' defense is just really elite.
That's a good point. It's definitely 2 teams at 2 different points in their time.
Yeah.
Falcons just moving on from Dan Quinn, who was a defensive mind, wasn't he?
He was a defensive-minded coach with some of the worst defenses ever.
Yeah. So offense wasn't sizzling before, not sizzling now. I hope they find some answers and keep Julio. I would love to see him retire.
Yeah,
as a Falcon.
He should definitely. I would really love to see him retire as a Falcon. I think he's dealing with injuries this year too. So
yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a new face at quarterback with head coach next year. It should be a weird offense for Atlanta.
I don't know if the answer is to do new head quarterback, though. I feel like you want to keep Matt Ryan just because Matty Ice is maybe... I think he's underrated for sure. I'd definitely say he's at least a top 8 quarterback.
We might touch on this later, but
Okay.
I think there's another Matt that would do better there.
Oh, okay. I like it. Okay.
And that sort of wraps up Saints and Falcons for me. Both of us close game for them. The next one is Washington and Steelers, which is the game going on right now. It's at halftime. 14-13 Steelers up, trying to retain that.
Was it 14-13 or 14-3?
Oh, 14-3. Did I say...
you said 13, yeah.
My apologies.
I was like
14-3. 14-3.
I was like, oh, it's close. Cool. And I was like, it's kind of close still. So they're within a couple scores, the football team is. We both have the football team. Dallas had them at 31-27 football team. I had them at 31-30. So we're both around the same area. That could still happen. I think after halftime, if those defenses both come out roaring and but the football team and Alex Smith and Frankenleg is able to put a few plays together, they might come a little closer together right then.
At halftime, 15 for 22, 122 yards. I mean, he's not playing bad. They just need to get in the end zone.
That's definitely not a bad box score right now for Alex Smith.
Yeah. We'll keep you updated on that one as it continues to progress. But from there, our last game from the Fast 5 recap. Tennessee Titans and Cleveland Browns here in Nashville. 41-35. Browns hold on to just a stellar first half.
Yeah. Well, honestly, they didn't show up the entire second half, in my opinion.
No, God, no.
You can call it garbage yards, but I really liked what the Titans did. They came right back all the way almost to win the game. They were one onside kick, one Adam Humphries drop away, one Derrick Henry fumble away from winning that game.
Yeah.
One less mistake in the first half, they get that fourth down conversion that they went for, I think, in the first quarter.
Yeah.
They're the winners this week.
Which I would like to take a quick moment to ask what kind of responsibility or accountability those refs have all week, not just on that play, but there are so many instances this week of poor officiating.
It's bad. It's really bad. The one that I can really look at is the Broncos-Chiefs game, which we'll get to in a minute. But it's just really bad this week. They were not good refs, and I think a lot of people will be talking about them throughout the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Easily Baker Mayfield's best half in football, I think.
His best game he's ever had.
Yeah, I mean, in just a condensed 2-quarter performance, you could say that was his best game.
Yeah.
Which really killed us. Breon Borders, who I was very high on 2 weeks ago, did get fully exposed by, was it Peoples-Jones? Yeah, I think it was, who had that long play.
Yeah, that was Peoples-Jones.
That was a backbreaker right after getting our quick touchdown.
Yeah, I think it was a 3-play touchdown for y'all, and then immediately just 1-play touchdown for them.
Yeah, and if that doesn't take the wind right out of you, I mean, it's very tough to stay competitive when you just get scored on.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we'll talk more about them in the final topic, but I think the Titans... I don't think this is a referendum on the Titans. I think this is more of a, hey, the Browns are kind of legit this year,
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that we played week 1 last year, and the NFL thought we exposed as a bad team. And they've had a season and a half, and look at them now.
Yeah, I believe the Ravens lost to the Browns lost to the Ravens last season, 44-16 in one game. And which is just not going to happen this year. They have better coaching, and which was the biggest difference. They've lost OBJ, but doesn't look like they necessarily need him.
Well, the interesting thing about losing OBJ is the resurgence of Jarvis Landry.
Yeah,
he's been playing lights out. I mean, I don't know if he continues to be a Brown after this season. I know college roommates with OBJ both have great chemistry.
Yeah,
but he's going to get some money. And the Browns have a lot of players that are going to get some money. And they're going to have to make choices with that roster, which is weird to say, with a Browns team that is over 500 looking to make the playoffs.
Yeah, honestly, people want to point kind of towards OBJ being some of the problem with the Browns. But in my opinion, I think we were seeing Kevin Stefanski being able to use OBJ really well this season.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think given some more time, it's possible that OBJ... could remain, they could have a double number one, with Jarvis Landry and OBJ as their two-headed, rat viper, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I still don't know if Baker has earned a non-competitive starting role in the offseason, though. It was a lights-out game. He's played very well the last few weeks after watching some tape.
Yeah.
But it's just the inconsistency to do it for more than 5 weeks. If they do make the playoffs, I want to see this continue from him.
Absolutely. And I think if the Browns I think they will go to the playoffs. If they win a playoff game and it's Baker Mayfield's that's what he did. He passed throughout the whole game. It was a pass heavy game.
Yeah.
And they win in the playoffs. I think Baker's there to stay. And
he got help from us. Peoples-Jones was wide open. There were several instances where there were no rushing or no pressure from our line where I thought there should have been, and weak coverage, but you still have to hit those players.
Yeah, you still got to hit the players. Baker definitely showed himself to be a better passer this week than he's ever been. I just don't know if that's something that he can keep up. But like I said, if he does this in the playoffs, he continues to do this, wins a playoff game. If he wins 2, he's definitely coming back. At least 1, I think he's pretty much coming back next year.
It looks bright for the Browns, and that is, I think, the longest I can talk nicely about the Browns. I just hate them as an organization.
One last thing I want to mention is that the Browns are 9-3 for the first time since the '94 season, I believe.
Good for Cleveland. They need something.
Yeah. I don't think they've made the playoffs since 2002, I want to say. Maybe 2006, I think, was the year. But it's been a long time coming.
I hope something happens and they don't this year.
All right. Well, now that Dallas is done ridiculing the Browns unnecessarily, let's go to Week 13 recap. The other games that we didn't do in our Fast Five last week. Let's start with the Raiders at Jets. Tragic loss for the Jets. I know they were wanting to tank, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, a theater doesn't have that much drama in the last quarter.
Yeah, Henry Ruggs touchdown, just incredible. I think Derek Carr was like, y'all really doing this? We really running this with a full-on blitz with a QB spy? That's it?
Yeah, I mean, right after missing a deep pass, they just do it again. And for whatever reason, it's an all-out blitz.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Suspicious.
It's a suspicious event that Greg Williams called that play. I know he's a blitz first guy.
Yeah.
He's a physical guy, and that bothers me a little bit because he's a little too physical sometimes. A little bounty gate, little.
We'll see. Yeah.
A little bit of that.
Yeah.
But with but Greg Williams, I don't understand that play call unless it was something that they were planning.
Is this it for him? Is Williams out of the NFL? Do you see him getting another job? Because I know a team that's looking for defensive coordinator, and I don't want him.
No, I wouldn't want him on any team. I think he's a dirty coach. He was responsible for Bountygate. Yeah. He was responsible for a bunch of other things where they were trying to hurt players, especially during the Broncos game, that Thursday Night Football game. I remember a couple instances where it's like, why even get a personal foul right there? It's clear that the coaching is proposing that, and I hope Greg Williams doesn't have a job again in the NFL.
I'm hoping that the Jets become the new black hole with Oakland without a football team, and it's looking to be that way with their new black outfits, their new black uniforms.
Yeah, I absolutely adore the black uniforms.
It looks great, but I guess a curse comes with them.
That's true. With the new black hole, you become the black hole. All right, so next we have Jaguars at Vikings. Only thing I have to say about this game is Dan Bailey, the Cowboys' old kicker, won it. He hit I think he missed an extra point this game, but he hit the game-winning field goal, and I'd like to hear that.
So, I didn't watch a lot of football after the Titans-Browns game. I had to do other things to console my aching heart. That was one I did watch a little bit because the Jaguars are doing bad. Always love to watch the Jags do bad.
Yeah.
But Dan Bailey came in clutch for me. I never want to see them win. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan Bailey. I'm glad you're feeling better. That hip isn't bothering you anymore. All right, let's go to Bengals at Dolphins.
I love them Bengals.
The Bengals scored one touchdown the whole game.
Wow.
An incredible 72-yard touchdown by Tyler Boyd.
Wow.
That was it, though. That is all. They were like, hey, that's all we got in the tank. No Joey B, nothing else for you.
Who was quarterback?
Ooh, it was I don't know who the quarterback was. Let me check.
Yeah. Who's playing quarterback for the Bengals right now?
I think it was the same backup behind Andy Dalton last year. Oh, I don't know this guy. Ryan Finley, I think?
Brandon Allen, I believe, got the start.
Brandon
I remember
Allen
seeing Allen.
Okay.
Well, that's rough for you, Bengals.
Yeah, sorry the whole entire city of Cincinnati. Y'all feel free to be, Browns fans for this year.
Yeah, just for a year. They deserve it, honestly, after the last 20. And Joe Burrow will be back.
Yeah, Joey B will be back. Hopefully they're able to reconstruct that knee well. He'll be a old cyborg knee in the future. But, the future is bright, though. So I think Joey B will be okay. I think they get him some offensive line help. Probably pick up Penei Sewell in this next coming draft. But we'll see on them.
Yeah.
Let's go next to Lions at Bears. Wow. The Bears are on a 6 losing streak.
God. What are you doing?
A team that everyone declared was the official phony 5-1 team, because there was a bunch of teams that were 5-0 or 5-1 after week 6. Everyone was calling them out as phonies.
We all knew something was wrong.
Something wasn't not right. We knew that the backup quarterback that is Nick Foles could not do that. He can't be the leader of an offense, unfortunately, unless they're playing in the Super Bowl and he just has to.
Yeah. What a playoff run that one time he was good.
He was really good, which was incredible. And Carson Wentz is much to my liking. Really bad.
Yeah.
I love that the Eagles I think they have like $254 dollars you're spending next year in cap, and the cap is $175 or $175 million next year.
I believe Carson is at least $30 million of that next year.
Yeah, you gotta either cut him or figure out a way to drop him somehow, guys. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway about with this game is Mitchell Trubisky is still not the answer. Nick Foles still isn't the answer, and the Lions somehow pulled this through with the fire the coach bump.
Yeah, well, looking at stats too, Trubisky didn't. You can't blame this solely on him.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the head coach's name? Do you remember?
Matt Patricia, he's fired.
No, the Bears.
Matt Nagy.
Thank you, Nagy. Yeah. I'm not high on him just yet. The Bears aren't a bad roster, not necessarily coached bad, but how do you lose 6 games in a row?
Yeah, Matt Nagy's on the hot seat. He's definitely on the hot seat with a lot of these other teams right now, other coaches for these teams right now.
Yeah, some already fired.
Some already gone. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose out or if they lose the majority of their next few games. He might be gone next year. Good offensive mind, though. I think he has some potential in him. He's an Andy Reid disciple, I believe. So we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, that has weight to it.
Yep. In some circles, it certainly does.
Much like Andy.
Wow. Let's go to the upset of the week. Giants at Seahawks. What are your thoughts on this game?
Wow, that was a game I didn't even watch or think of until this morning. I wanted to get caught up for this, watch some film, and yeah, the upset. That was insane.
Yeah. I think this is just kind of showing us that the Giants are a sneaky good team.
Yeah.
Some may call them the 4th best team in the NFC right now. Some might not.
We'll see.
I mean, the injury bug. They had Saquon Barkley, and I think they had a couple others.
Yeah.
Not Andy Dalton. Excuse me. Daniel Jones. He was out, I believe. Let me check them real quick.
Wow. I would like to give a quick shout out to their free safety. That is Logan Ryan. Did you see that he has moved to free safety and he's having a Pro Bowl year?
Awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, great coverage guy, great tackler. I think he's close to 80 or 100 tackles on the season. And At that position, yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see him doing well for what he did for the Nashville community. And I think he could stay at that position for another 3 years and give that kind of performance.
I really wish the Cowboys would have sat him down for a cup of coffee, but unfortunately, I guess we really weren't looking at spending money in areas that mattered this year.
No.
So we let him go to a division rival, which is really cool.
Well,
I love to hear that Logan Ryan's doing well, but,
Jerry has to afford that spaceship of a yacht somehow.
Yeah, that I think it can fly. I'm pretty sure it can fly.
At this point, I think it's confirmed.
It at least teleports. Let's be real.
It gets around.
Yeah, but Colt McCoy did start this game for the Giants.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Dan didn't even have a snap?
Daniel Jones, he's hurt, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
Colt McCoy.
And the Giants.
Colt McCoy might win the NFC East this year and host a playoff game come January.
That's not fair.
I think that's really neat. I think that's just really neat.
It's neat in the same way that the Electoral College works. But if you can beat the Seahawks, you can beat a lot of teams.
Yeah. It's really incredible that they were able to pull that one through. Let's go next to the Eagles at Packers. Packers are flying high, and is Hurts the answer? I think it hurts these Eagles fans to hear that Carson Wentz isn't the answer.
Especially after giving him so much money.
Yeah.
I haven't watched much Jalen Hurts ball. To my knowledge, has he played a lot of snaps yet this season?
I think he's thrown the ball a couple times, kind of like on trick plays. This is his first, he started his first series and the rest of the game after a couple of crappy Carson Wentz series. Really wasn't a big difference. I think he had a touchdown pass, but also an interception over Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wash at that point. But it's his first game, and this is Carson Wentz, 40th game? So
yeah,
I think it's time to go back to the drawing board and look at Hurts and see what he can do.
I mean, at this point, you have him. He's yours for a few years. It doesn't make sense to get rid of Hurts. So I think hand him the keys, right? Give him the offense.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do? You can continue to let Carson Wentz play hero ball where he's, the supervillain in the end.
Yeah,
it's just not worth it. What were you going to say?
You're fortunate enough to be in an NFC East division where somehow you're in contention. And
one game out of winning the division.
Yeah, and hosting a playoff game is Jalen Hurts the Nick Foles of this year for them.
It could be. I think being that Nick Foles has won, I believe, at least 4 playoff games for them at this point. He beat the Bears a couple years ago with the double doink. Yeah. He also brought them all the way to the Super Bowl in the playoffs when Carson Wentz had that borderline MVP season.
Carson did not win a playoff game for them.
No. And then the next chance that Carson Wentz had to start a game, he was hurt immediately.
Yep.
So it's clear that Carson Wentz is not the answer. He's I don't know. I think he can't play a full season. And also, he's going to make a lot of mistakes by the end of the season.
And playoffs is what matters.
Absolutely.
You can make it there, but if you don't win one, you're out. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Andy Dalton can tell you that, and Carson Wentz can tell you that.
Yep. 2 players probably on a similar level at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's go next to the biggest blowout of the week. Patriots at Chargers, 45-0. 0. Justin Herbert scored 0 points.
Was it last week that we said that the Patriots were on the chopping board for legit versus shit, or the week before?
I believe it was last week. I think it was last week.
I wonder if Bill just heard somehow. I mean, if there's a coach in the NFL that goes through and listens to every sports podcast, whether it has 1 view or 50,000, it's him. Maybe he heard us because they showed up.
Yeah, I think Bill definitely is a listener of Coach Potatoes. Sponsored us. Subway and Coach Potatoes are his 2 favorite sponsors.
We love you, Bill.
We love you, Bill. Thank you for all of your patronage to our glorious podcast.
Still don't know if you have a good football team, though.
To be determined.
Yeah,
it's so incredible that they're still in contention. But what do you expect out of a Bill Belichick team?
I mean, I guess what we saw, honestly, you can never count them out. You can never count Bill out. And he has shown that after Tom has left and performed well, after he lost, 8 or so players deciding to opt out this season.
Yeah.
Cam hasn't been playing near to the level I think everyone wanted to see him play to. Everything's gone wrong, and they're still in contention.
Yeah, it's just the defensive mind that is Bill Belichick, I think. With this game, though, I think what we should have kind of expected a blowout, because Bill has always dominated first-year quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, he dominated. Only one he really didn't dominate was Lamar Jackson, but actually that was the second year when Lamar Jackson played the...
loophole.
Yeah, that's his loophole. I can beat you in the first year. The second year, when you kind of have a little experience, maybe not. I don't know what you do yet, kind of thing. But it's just incredible that the Patriots were able to pull off such a blowout. I think we should have expected them to dominate this game because it's the first-year quarterback. But Justin Herbert's been a stud, too.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be like, this should be a blowout. But we know what Bill Belichick does to first-year quarterbacks.
Herbert seems to be in the perfect place. Honestly, the way he's played, the system around him, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Just did not matter.
It did not. I think he had 2 interceptions on the day, but besides that, he didn't look awful. I think the one interception, the second interception was kind of like a reach and grab. The first one wasn't put in a great spot, but I think that's a 50-50, the first one. I think the other one was a kind of like a chunk up ball.
For a young quarterback, you have to wonder what kind of mental space he was in, having a goose egg on his side, and God knows what the score was at that point, because it was just a massacre the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. He was trying to put them back in the game. I think he still ended up with like 200-something passing yards. He passed the ball 53 times. 53. I think he was like 43 for like... I think he was 42 for 53 over the game, which isn't bad.
No, that's accurate.
Yeah, he's not an inaccurate quarterback for the most part.
God, 40-plus completions.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's all we have for the Patriots and Chargers. Let's go to the Broncos at Chiefs. Game was way too close for liking.
That is one that I did watch as well. Most of that game, what a bizarre one.
Yeah.
I just like watching Patrick Mahomes do Mahomes things, and it wasn't that.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever you go into a divisional game, it's always going to be contentious, no matter what the teams are. I think even some of the Patriots and Jets games in the past, Patriots Dolphins games in the past, have been way too close for anyone's liking.
Yeah, and to say for Mahomes, 300 plus yards and 95 quarterback rating, still a good game, just not what you thought going into Denver.
Absolutely. I think we underestimate Denver's defense. They definitely have to figure out that offensive side. I think they have Pat Shurmur as their offensive coordinator. Awful coordinator.
Jerry Jeudy is starting to show up, too. That's nice.
Yeah, he didn't have a big game last night, but he had a couple of big grabs that were really nice.
He does what I like in A.J. Brown, and that's his ability to stay up after the catch and fight.
That's like one of the most important things, getting those rack yards after he catches it and keep running.
Yak and rack, baby.
Yak and rack. You got to rack up them yak yards. Also, other thing we wanted to mention is bad officiating.
Oh, God, yes. In that game, absolutely. Tyreek Hill had a touchdown literally stolen from him.
And he didn't even know.
No one knew.
No one called, like, the announcers saw it and they were like, oh my God, did he catch that? And then as soon as they punted, they were like, oh my God, they should have. And pulled the challenge flag.
And that's a perfect example of what the ref is there to do, catch the things no one else does.
Yeah.
And they just didn't. I mean, how do you not know the football didn't touch the ground?
It seems like this has to be like a first time scenario. Like, how does no one realize, you know?
Yeah.
I guess also on Tyreek's part, he should have known that, like, hey, I caught the ball on like my shoulder and my hand like this, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, falling to the ground, how do you know it hasn't hit the ground?
Yeah.
That's what the ref is there for.
Yeah. The ref is supposed to be there. The back judge should be there to help them like come up with something in that position. They should have called a touchdown there. It's just ridiculous that everyone misses that.
And I lightly sprinkled on it earlier and want to say it again. There's just no accountability for referees.
Yeah, the referees can come up with any, sort of, I believe a few years ago, Cowboys and Raiders, the refs used an index card to show that the Cowboys got a first down.
Yeah.
Based off of the way that the first down marker was positioned. They used an index card that was a folded up piece of paper, not even an index card, to kind of show that it was a right angle and that the ball was just barely past the first down mark. Which is like, I loved it because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yes.
But that's not how you officiate a game.
$1 billion worth.
Yeah.
What are you doing, NFL?
Yeah, this is a $1 billion product that's continuing to make billions and is a growing source of entertainment for many people. Especially with sports betting and fantasy becoming a much more viable thing.
Sports betting now legal in Tennessee?
Yeah, and it's incredible that they're able to still have officiating chokes like this. It just bothers me.
Refs will get you worked up. Refs will get you mad.
They get you worked up because you don't want to see it happen.
You just want to see two teams go out there and play football.
Exactly.
You don't want either of those teams to have to go up against another opponent.
Mm-hmm. Let's go next to a couple teams who haven't played yet, the Bills and the 49ers.
That should be a damn good game.
I think that's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a defensive slugfest.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give the edge to the Bills. I think the Bills definitely take this one out. I don't think giving them a score is worth it. I think that Nick Mullins leading an offense for the 49ers with Jimmy G just being not able to keep an ankle straight and not able to keep a football straight. You can't keep Jimmy G at that position. Nick Mullins has to start at this point.
Yeah.
Or the unfortunate CJ Beathard again.
It's something that's a shame for the 49ers to have seen a Super Bowl last year and just be plagued with injuries during an already frustrating 2020 for every team.
Yeah. But it's an incredible Super Bowl slump.
Yeah. Keep your chin up high. I mean, I'm still high on Garoppolo. I think he might have a better year than you think next year.
Could be.
Hopefully, Joey, or which Bosa's there? Nick.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get another disruptive guy like Leonard Williams on that line to help with him. That would be explosive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they could really pull this team together and figure out a way next year to be back in that position again.
And Bills are good. Bills are a good team.
The Bills are. Josh Allen is looking top tier this year. Hopefully no crazy laterals again. But
He likes those.
He loves them. It's his favorite. It's his favorite way to throw a football. But let's go next to my very unfortunate, injury-riddled, questionable coach. All of the above that you could say that's wrong with the football team, boys, up against the Ravens.
Wow.
At Ravens.
Two shaky teams.
Yeah, I think we know who stands on firmer ground for sure here.
Yeah.
The Cowboys having one of the worst, I believe it's somewhere between the range of 27 to 32 as the worst run defense in the league.
Yeah.
And the Ravens obviously being like one of the best. I think they have the least passing yards, but one of the most rushing yards in the NFL.
A lot of players that can run well, whether it's Lamar, Hollywood, or either running back there actually,
yeah.
Mark or Dobbins.
One thing I will say is that this is the return of Dez Bryant to Jerry. Or he's not going to Jerry World actually. They're going to be at Baltimore, but this is the return of Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
To face his Cowboys again.
Is he starting? Do you think he's starting?
Yeah, he's been starting the last couple weeks. So yeah, we will see Dez Bryant against the Cowboys, and I love it.
That's beautiful.
I hope he torches it. Dez, we need to tank. Torch us. If I'm a Cowboys fan who doesn't want to tank, you load the box because Lamar Jackson doesn't want to get out and be hit a lot. You load the box just the entire game. Don't let them. If they pass it, they pass it. Oh well, we have a defunct secondary anyway. And you see what Lamar Jackson can do against our crappy secondary. Just load the box and see what happens.
Make him a passing quarterback this game.
And if it doesn't work, then we can still tank.
Yeah.
We can always still tank.
Oh no, we lost.
oh well, fourth overall pick. All right, so right now, actually, quick update for the football team and Steelers game. The name redacted versus the Steel Curtain, if you will. Looks like the game just got delayed.
Oh, wow, a delay?
Yeah, the game has been delayed, which is incredible. I don't know what happened. We'll have to keep you guys posted on this game, but for some reason the game is delayed.
Wow, yeah, we're going to try to get that information. Wow.
We'll get it probably after the break. Right now, score update for everyone who isn't watching this game or hasn't checked the score, as this podcast will probably be up either tonight or Tuesday morning. 14-10 is the score. Steelers are up.
Wow.
Defensive slugfest, it looks like, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's all for our recap for Week 13. Would you want to take us into our Fast Five for this week?
Yeah, absolutely. The Fast Five, we got a lot of good football in a crucial point for these teams. I'm just going to start with what I think is going to be the best game of the week. I'd love to hear your input on it. Ravens at Browns.
Yeah, I think I put in my conspiracy corner a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't very confident about it at the time, but I'm growing more and more confident. The Ravens aren't making the playoffs.
The writing's on the walls in Baltimore.
The writing is on the walls. I believe when Lamar Jackson closes his eyelids, he reads it on the back of his eyelids. He knows he's not making the playoffs. COVID-19 has destroyed their team. The run game has not been as effective. The pass game has continued to decline. I don't think that they're going to be able to do it. They are at Browns, and what I will say is that the Browns have shown when they're in the cold, Baker Mayfield doesn't play as well.
Yeah. It's kind of become a consistent performance issue in the cold.
Which is interesting. I think they need to figure out some way to continue to keep him loose or some way to keep him from, having a frozen arm during the whole game.
Yeah.
But I walk away from this game, or, I hypothetically walk away from this game. If the Browns win, I think it's because Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback or played as a better quarterback in that game than Lamar Jackson. I think that's how you got to walk away from this game if they win. I think that's the only way they win. I don't think you beat the Ravens just on the ground. I think Baker Mayfield has to have an over-the-top attack that is effective for them to win.
He did it last week. I know the Titans aren't the best pass defensive team in the league this year. Last year, we're just not built for that. Played well before that. If he plays well this week, I think you're an idiot if you are in the Baltimore building and you don't take a step back and say, what are we doing wrong with Lamar?
Yeah, I think they're definitely not utilizing Lamar. He's gotten stronger since last year, and I think he probably has a better arm. I just don't know if... I think it's still the play calling at the Ravens.
I mean, he's a stud. He's talent. He oozes it. Whether he's running, he's got a cannon. Maybe not the most accurate guy, but you can work with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe instead of just doing run options, we try some run-pass options. Because they're definitely a run option first, then run RPO, then maybe a run, then maybe a pass, you know?
It's a head-scratcher because 2 years ago, or at least, going into the playoffs last year, it wasn't a question whether Baker or Lamar was a better quarterback.
Yeah.
And I still don't think Baker's a better quarterback, but he's being utilized properly. And it shows statistically, it shows in win-losses, and I think it might show this week.
I think it shows on the tape, the writing's on the wall. Right now, Baker is playing as a better quarterback throughout this last couple of games stretch, which is really weird to say. But Baker, right now, at this very moment, on 12/7/2020, is being a better quarterback than Lamar.
Right now, yes, and both of these guys need to figure it out because they are on the chopping board. Young guys with a career ahead of them, but it might not be where they're at now.
Yeah, and I'll spare you from talking any more about the Browns. I know you don't love it, but what do you got score-wise?
I've got Browns winning this one 31-20.
Really? Okay, I have a similar score. I have Browns 27-20.
Just an explosive offense. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Jarvis Landry, and Baker is getting things cooking.
Yeah, it's cool to see Baker cook. I love the chip on the shoulder attitude. But let's get off the Browns. Who you got next?
The next game should be just as fun. Patriots at Rams. Two teams that have a lot of question marks, but can show up and perform well.
Yeah.
The Rams should have a lot that they want to fight for to try to stay in playoff contingency. And, hell, that goes the same for the Patriots. I know they've been kind of low these last couple weeks, but coming off a performance like that, it's hard to play bad football.
Yeah, and I don't suspect that this is going to be any sort of blowout. Sean McVay is much smarter dude than Anthony Lynn, unfortunately. I like Anthony Lynn as a person, but that would be the coach of the Chargers for those who don't know. Sean McVay, the coach being the Rams, the other LA team, funny enough. Playing two LA teams back to back. I didn't think about that.
Wow.
But it's gonna be a tough game for the Rams. I don't know if they'll be able to pull it off. I think that the Patriots defense is going to prove to be good again.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot to prove. It's a rematch of the 2018 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We'll have to see for sure. Do you have a score in mind for this game?
Right before I say score, I do want to touch on a high note of something
Absolutely.
you said that's important. And that's that it's a rematch for the Rams and the Patriots. But for that Patriots defense, it's a team without Tom Brady. And they want to show they can still play well. They can still win this game without Tom Brady.
And just to add, some may argue that they would have won that 2018 Super Bowl without Tom Brady.
Yeah.
The MVP of that Super Bowl was actually Julian Edelman.
Yeah. And what a hell of a catch. Okay, but back to it. You said that, and it's I think it's a lot more important to that defense than people think.
Absolutely.
And my score is 24-17. Sean is a hell of an offensive guy. He's going to crack that end zone once or twice.
So you got 24-17.
Patriots winning.
Patriots winning. Wow.
Patriots actually holding on. I think this will be their a top 3 performance on the season for them. Bill Belichick knows how important it is to play good football in December, and he played good football yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got it a little bit of a higher scoring game. I got 31-28. Just because they scored 45 last week, I can't see them really going under about 25 for this game.
Yeah,
I got the Patriots 31-28.
Do you think their special teams or defense scores? Do you think that hot streak continues?
Yeah, I can't remember the guy. His name's like Oshevsky or something like that. Mm-hmm. 2 touchdowns on the game, which is incredible. 2 major run backs with the punt return. 1 for a touchdown, 1 within the 20. Really good special teams they're playing, which is really important against a team that's high flying sometimes, like the Rams can be.
That is interesting. That's the difference between our projections. I think all 24 points offensive for the Patriots.
Okay, yeah, I say 24 points could definitely go offensive, but I can't see Cam Newton putting up 31 points this season.
Yeah,
but I definitely have the Rams staying neck and neck in this game. Want to go to Giants at Cardinals next?
Yeah, Giants at Cardinals. I mean, 2 young guys at quarterback, even if we don't see Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. It's always fun to watch Kyler. I hope Daniel Jones gets to play soon. I was unaware he was even injured. Yeah. I think it could be a slugfest. I think the Giants want to prove they could win a playoff game this year. And it's looking more and more likely they're the playoff team in the NFC East.
Yeah, the Giants haven't really been in the picture for a number of years now, which is lovely for me. They were a wild card team in 2016, but since then they have been very, very not good. They had to break it off with Eli Manning, unfortunately, with that divorce. Bringing Daniel Jones, really not a favorable choice by many's opinions. I mean, now it's still to be determined. He can definitely trip on like a 70-yard run. We know that for sure. But can he be the starting quarterback forever? I know he's dealing with injury bug right now. I'd really love to see Colt McCoy go up against
Cardinals?
Cardinals. That's it. That's what I'm thinking of. I'd really love to see Colt McCoy win this division. I'd really love to see him win out the rest of these games. I don't see them necessarily. I don't know if they're really going to pull off this game. I'll have to see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, do you have a score in mind?
Give me yours first.
Mine, slugfest, nasty football. We're talking 34-31 in overtime for the Cardinals.
Wow. Yeah, I'm switching around my score as we speak.
Wow.
I originally had the Giants 26-17. I'm switching it around to Cardinals 26-17. I think they're still close enough in contention where they're going to want to continue to try to put up points and play hard. I know the Giants just came off a victory off the Seahawks, but I just think this is little spurts that we're seeing of a Giants team that could be effective in the next few years. You said you had 34 or 31 for this game?
34-31 in overtime.
Wow. I don't know if it'll be that high scoring. I think the Giants might keep the Cardinals a little bit in check. Try to load that box, maybe see if they can get in Kyler's face a little bit.
Yeah.
I know Kyler hasn't been the most accurate when it comes to passing this year.
No. Especially pressured.
Yeah, for sure pressured. Any other thoughts on this game?
I think that wraps it up. I think if the Giants win somehow, it's huge. It's huge for momentum forward.
It'll be the second week in a row when they have the upset of the week.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
Next is Steelers and Bills.
Yeah, Steelers and Bills. The Josh Allen versus the old broke knee Ben Roethlisberger. Questionable college life. Questionable life as a pro as well. But what matters this week is how they're going to play on the field. I think this is going to be so close. I think this is going to be the game of the week. It definitely should be by all measurements.
Yeah. I have a similar idea there. Do you think high score, low score?
Kind of in between.
In between? Okay.
Not super high score, but not below 30.
Okay. So I'm just gonna.
You just gonna go with
I'm just gonna pop the bubble. 2014 Bills. I think this is the end of the undefeated season. I think the Bills are hungry. I think they're going to be more aggressive, and the Steelers won't keep up.
Wow, yeah. I agree, actually. We keep betting against the Steelers, and we might have to pay for it very soon. But so be it. I don't, right now, with the evidence I've seen put forward thus far by the jury, I do not see, I don't think the jury puts out evidence, but if they did, I wouldn't believe it. I think that the Steelers are not the greatest team in the NFL right now. It's definitely the Chiefs. I think they're top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to go 31 Bills, 30 Steelers. I think it's a 1-point game. Comes down to a field goal miss or something.
Yeah.
Something that's just something that someone from the Steelers wouldn't expect. I don't think the Bills are that much. If they are any better than the Steelers, it might be neck and neck, might be tied. I don't think that they pull off some sort of blowout for sure.
No, I think the Steelers stay in it. But I agree with you. I think the Bills will just neck and neck pull ahead, or the Steelers will trip on their own toes in some fashion.
Yeah. Well, next let's go to the battle of the wild cards. We got the Vikings at Bucks as our final Fast 5 game of the week. Give me some thoughts on this game.
A good game. Kirk Cousins is someone that I've never been high on, never been low on. He's got a lot to prove coming off of last week, and so does Tom Brady. Of course, high on him for over a decade, but he's passing a little more than he should and still doesn't have the yards to show for it.
Yeah.
I would like to see that offense blossom into a bit more of the running back committee that they have, getting more carries.
Yeah, I like what's his name? Quarterback for the Vikings. He just said his name.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. I like him a lot more than most people will.
Yeah.
He's definitely kept close games against the Cowboys several times that made me go, please don't, Kirk. But I don't know if Kirk is going to be Commander Kirk. I think he's just going to be the kind of game manager this week. And I think Tom Brady's going to be as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily that Tom Brady has a breakout game. You know what? No. I'm feeling like Tom Brady has a really good game this week.
You think he goes off?
I think he shows up against subpar teams. I don't think Brady is going to ever become what he was maybe like in 2007 ever again. He's 43 years old. What are you going to expect?
Yeah.
But I think that the Vikings commit to a run game. The Bucks commit at first to a run game. Kind of neck and neck at halftime. But I think by the end of the game, the Bucks pull ahead 34-20 against the Vikings. So it's a two-score game. It's not necessarily a blowout, but it's definitely not close at the end.
I've got mine neck and neck like the Steelers and Bills 23-21 going to the Bucks.
Wow, yeah. I think we both know that the Bucks will probably pull this out, but I think that the Bucks surprisingly pull out a bigger win than most people would expect for this week.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady is Tom Brady, much like Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick. They both understand the importance of late season victories.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this game?
No, I think that wraps it up well.
Yeah, I think that is all we have for the first half of the podcast. Don't go anywhere. We have Legit versus Shit, Conspiracy Corner, and then a little review for our teams coming very shortly. But we'll be right back after our party break, guys. All right, we are back from the break. Oh my gosh, I'm already messing up the intro, and I said I would take it. We are back from the break. The bladders are emptied. The thoughts are gathered, and it's time for Legit versus Shit. Yeah. Who is good? Who is not? This week we're doing a special playoff thing. What we're gonna do? We're gonna talk which teams we think are gonna go to the playoffs from each division, which teams are not. A little bit different from typical Legit versus Shit, but bear with us. We're coming up with ideas. We're being creative, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean it's that time of the year where there's legit and shit, and then there's the shit in the legit. We just want to talk about the teams you'll be watching in January, February.
The teams that you'll care about in a month.
Yeah.
Let's go first to the NFC East. Who do you have taking the NFC least division title and hosting a playoff game?
Well, I think it's one that you'll agree with me on because we're just excited about them, and that's the New York Giants.
The Giants will, yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you. I think the football team comes in a close second with the Eagles at third and the Cowboys at fourth.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next year when Dak can walk again. Maybe Zeke isn't eating everything.
Yeah, maybe Zeke
for your
is
boys.
eating yards and less burgers.
Yeah, or just eating at a whole new restaurant. Maybe not even in Dallas.
Yeah, maybe you can eat at Whataburger in Houston instead of in the Cowboys.
It's a fumbled division that I think the Giants could pick up and go as far as they want to go with.
Fumbled, like the Cowboys ever play.
Yeah, I mean, both fumbles, Carson, I mean, that whole division just...
Yeah. It is a wrecked division. But yeah, Giants are definitely going to be kings of the East. They are legit for the NFC East, at least.
Yeah.
Let's go to the NFC West. I think this division is going to come down to two teams that are going to take the first place, and the other team's going to take the wild card spot. But it's going to be a Week 16 game that predicts this.
Wow.
It's Seahawks and Rams play Week 16.
Yep.
The winner of this game is going to be the winner of the division. The loser of this game will be the wild card team, and who will not host the first playoff game anyway. Seahawks are going to win it, though. I think Seahawks win the division. Rams, wild card.
You know, that does sort of put a spoiler on a wild card, but I couldn't have said it better myself. This is not pre-discussed. The Seahawks are my winner of the West, with the Rams leading up in a wild card because of that Week 16 game. Yes, I'm all about it.
I think that you saw the Week 16 game too as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, that's just such an important matchup right now.
I was definitely thinking, like, if it was Week 17, it'd be even better. But like Week 16 is really awesome because they're going to be coming down head to head. Might even have the same record at that time being. Who knows?
Yeah, those divisional games count for two.
Yeah, those divisional games are super important. And if the Seahawks are able to pull off this one, I don't remember who won the last time they met up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with this one. Let's go next to the frigid NFC North. Who you have winning? I think it's pretty obvious.
That's gonna be A-Rod with the Packers.
A-Rod is definitely taking this division home.
He knows how to do it.
He's taking them to his... Oh, he can't take them home to Danica Patrick because they're not divorced. Broken up now.
It's tragic.
That's so tragic. Sorry. Unfortunately, Danica Patrick will not get an NFC North discount double check belt for herself. But the more interesting debate with this team is that all three of the other teams are kind of in play for the wild card at this point.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to for those three other teams. I forget what the record is for that division, but it's shaping up very well for the Packers.
Yeah.
And they're just a great team this year, offensively, defensively. I can't wait to hear what you think happens with the rest of that division.
Yeah, I got the Vikings coming in second for the wild card spot in that division. If it wasn't for the NFC East, none of those other teams would make it in. But since there are 3 wild cards now, if y'all don't know, they expanded the season to feature one extra game, or one extra week at least. And that means that 3 teams get to go into the wild card and compete in the tournament that is the playoffs. So the Vikings, they are going to probably take the wild card spot out of the NFC North. The Lions are going to come in a close second, though. I think this is going to come down to a couple games. But I think the Bears are totally out of it.
The Bears are out of it, and I think I'm going to keep it a little interesting, keep you on your toes. Ooh. I don't have another NFC North team making the playoffs this year.
Wow.
So I'll let you know what my other 2 wild cards are, but...
I love it. Well, it's got to be in the NFC South, so let's go right to it. I got the Taysom Hill-led Saints winning it, and I have the Bucks at the wild card. You go ahead. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say.
So I do have the Saints locking it in. Sean Payton has shown he gets it done with or without Drew Brees. Michael Thomas is back to playing good football. Alvin Kamara is playing good football. Mm-hmm. That defense has always been good, and somehow is... Jared Cook still a tight end there? Is that accurate? Who's their old tight end? Because they always have
for the Saints?
Yeah.
That's Jared Cook.
Okay, yeah. Still playing good football no matter how old he is. Mm-hmm. So they lock that up. I do have the Buccaneers taking a wild card spot. Yeah. Beyond that, though, I do actually have the Cardinals and the Rams sneaking in.
Wow, I totally forgot. Okay, well, wow, yeah, I forgot that you can have two from the same division. That's my bad on. Yeah, I don't think the Vikings take it over the Cardinals now that you bring that up.
I think the Cardinals could get red hot. They could finish strong, and they have a young team that wants to show they're a playoff team.
Yeah. Well, let me go back real quick. I'm going to retroactively add in, the Cardinals. Honestly, Cardinals versus 49ers. It could. The 49ers aren't out of this yet. Kyle Shanahan is one of the, if not the greatest coach in the NFL right now.
But the Cardinals have a bit of a break facing half of what that roster's potential is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to go Giants, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, Saints, and Bucks.
Let's go!
And I think that's everyone, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think... Yeah, if the... so we got Giants, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, yeah. Yeah, that is it for this side of the NFL. Who do you have taking number one in the NFC?
In the NFC, I have the Packers locking it in. I have them playing good football for the rest of the season, and honestly, I don't know when that ends.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep my Super Bowl pick, the Saints, at number one.
Yeah.
I think the Saints' defense is flying higher than the Packers are.
It's a close second for me. The Saints are a close second.
The Packers are a little bit farther for me, but I think they're definitely going to be right there in second place no matter what happens. But let's move on to the AFC. And real quick, now that we are moving on to the AFC, let's talk Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is tied with the football team 17-17 right now. I think Logan Thomas had the last touchdown. He is on my fantasy, much to Dallas's chagrin because he has Terry McLaurin on his fantasy. Very disappointing for him. Very happy for me, but
just confirming, Terry has not had a catch since we last checked. So
gotcha.
That's
unfortunate.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
I just had to update you.
No, it's important. Football.
Some may say ignorance is bliss, but you'd rather know in the end.
Yeah, my eyes are open. I want to see every play, every snap, good or bad.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and start with the AFC East. Who do you got taking it?
I got a sneaky good team, and it's so nice to say in the AFC East, the Bills will lead that division.
They weren't sneaky good in the first few weeks, but I think they've kind of flown under the radar now that it feels like Bills Mafia kind of settled down because they haven't been good since they went to 4 Super Bowls back to back.
Yeah,
and then lost every single one, unfortunately.
It happens to one team in the NFL.
I didn't realize it was 4. I thought it was just 2 against the Cowboys because that's just my closed-minded tunnel vision of my Cowboys killing the Bills. I didn't realize that they got killed 4 years in a row. Incredible feat. Never will be achieved again. Bills are my AFC East division titles, with the Dolphins getting that wild card spot. I think they take the wild card in the AFC East. Who do you have?
I have the Dolphins sneaking into a wild card as well, with the Bills locking in the East. Two teams that are so nice to hear are above the Patriots.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a lock-in at this point.
Yeah. I think so, too. Dolphins are in a 2-win streak right now. It might even come down to a Week 17 game. Bills and Dolphins are playing that week.
Yeah.
It might come down to if their records start to pull closer together. It could come down to a divisional game where that determines who wins the division, which would be really interesting. I really love that.
Yeah.
Much better than a division that was just dominated by the Patriots for about 20 years in a row. But let's go next to the AFC West, the division that hosts the best team.
Yeah. I mean, do we say it together or how do we do it?
3, 2, 1, Chiefs.
Chiefs?
It's the Chiefs. Andy Reid is an incredible coach. One of the coach of the years. Brian Flores, I forgot to mention, is another coach of the year, along with Kyle Shanahan.
The only super team in the NFL.
Yeah, they are a super team. I think their only weakness is a little bit on the defensive side, but even their defense is pretty stout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any wild cards in this division?
Oh, gosh. I don't actually. The West is kind of just run by the Chiefs now.
The West only has one little small ghost town running there, and it's just the Chiefs.
I like the Broncos if everyone's healthy, but not this year.
And the Raiders looked good, but after a close win to the Jets and not a close loss to the Falcons,
two bad weeks of football.
Yeah, I have the Raiders with a big question mark next to them. I don't think they make it in these predictions. But let's go next to our team of the evening that is leading the AFC North right now. By all accounts, they will continue to be the leaders of this division. The Steelers are winning this division. The AFC North. Who do you have? You got to have the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, keep shoveling coal into the furnace that is that offense. Whether it's short passes, long passes,
the steel furnace, if you will.
Yeah, if you will. That is just a good team that has rejuvenated a blitz scheme and played really good offensively. And I don't see a way to stop it, honestly. So I have them dominating the North as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll probably agree on this, even much to your chagrin. We've had to talk about the Browns way too much this podcast.
Hurts me to talk about them in December, but yes, I know where you're going, and yes.
I have the Baker's dozen Browns making the playoffs under a wild card spot.
They're going to squeak in there.
No Ravens, though.
No Ravens, that's right.
I have no Ravens making the playoffs.
So does that leave your last team as an AFC South?
I have an AFC South team that's going to make it.
Okay. Well, don't leave me hanging. I mean...
Okay.
Who's your AFC South champion?
AFC South champion is a team very near to us.
Okay.
They are within 500 miles.
Oh, fantastic. Love to hear that. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, they are the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans win this division. They win this division with a winning record that is not 9-7. It's going to be at least 10-6, at least higher than that if I had to guess.
Please.
I think they finish out 12-4. They got embarrassed by the Browns. I think they continue on this train. I think we'll talk about it a little bit more in our teams, but I think they can make a couple decisions as far as coaching goes, not just defensively. I think there's a couple other decisions that they can make that will improve this team, even on the offensive side. But I have the Colts at the wild card. Who else are you going to have? I guess the Texans aren't technically out of it, but the Texans are out of it because they have a 70-year-old coach that's not he's an interim head coach.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars are officially out by all metrics. So who's your AFC South division leader and wild card?
Well, I'm going to sleep better tonight knowing that we're on the same team there. I have the Titans taking the South. It's not my blue bias showing through. We did get spanked, humiliated by my least favorite team at home at the start of December. And that really, really hurt me in a deep spot. And I think we have 2 easy wins coming up, Detroit and Jacksonville. And that really just leaves the Texans. And if we can beat the Texans, we still lead the division.
Yeah, which is a big question mark. Deshaun Watson will keep the Texans at contention at all times unless he's mathematically out.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a cakewalk. And I swear if they ruin our playoff chances or at least our divisional leadership, I might hate them as much as the Jaguars.
Yeah, well, for this side of the NFL, I have Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs, Steelers, Browns, Titans, Colts. I think you probably have the same as me, don't you?
Bills, Browns, Chiefs, Steelers, Titans, Colts, Dolphins, yeah. I believe we're in agreement. It's almost across the board on both.
You said it in a different order, so it made me real confused. But
I went out of my way to do that.
I don't appreciate that. But obviously we both have number one as the
Kansas City Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs, who are the best team in the NFL.
Best NFL
by all
team.
Metrics.
Yeah, I mean, when you size them up and down, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Quick, before we move on to our conspiracy corner, quick little update for you. The Ben Roethlisberger incomplete pass turnover on downs at Washington 38. So Washington has the ball back, and they are moving it. 7-yard pass to McKissick just now.
Wow.
So we'll see.
Tied game 17-17, under 5 minutes left. Wow.
Yeah. Alex Smith might put together a little drive right here and pull them ahead. We'll see.
Yeah.
Play in progress as we speak. I'll give you guys a little update as soon as this completes. Let's see, 6-yard pass completion to McKissick again. Okay. Yeah, so 2nd and 4 at the Washington 44. We'll see if they're able to move it down the field. We'll keep you updated as Conspiracy Corner goes on. But let's go right into it. Conspiracy Corner. Yeah, let's take the helm.
Well, there's something that we do want to touch up on that doesn't happen a lot in professional sports. We're not talking college. We're not talking your backyard games for pride. This is an NFL team that just might be purposely losing. And that's the New York Jets.
The New York Jets are purposely tanking by all metrics. Go ahead.
Well, you can look at that game, and that last drive is really what it boils down to. Is you never see players wanting to tank. Mm-hmm. And I know they had success blitzing. Mm-hmm. But when there's 2 deep passes in a row, what professional coach is going to call that play?
Absolutely. And for those of y'all who don't know already, it was a 1-score game with about 15 seconds left, I believe. Yeah. The Jets did an all-out blitz on the final play of the game that resulted in the result of the game. And Derek Carr connected with Henry Ruggs for, I think, over a 40-yard touchdown.
And Henry Ruggs isn't slow. That's not a secret. And you don't give him a safety blanket?
Yeah, there was no safety blanket. I think the only person in like a sort of coverage was QB spy. I think everyone else was either blitzing or manned.
Yeah, just an island out there.
Incredible that they let that happen. With our tinfoil hats on, we do suspect that Greg Williams got cut a check and then got departed. He got a flight and a check out of the Jets organization.
Call it retirement early for him because everyone's out after December. They just needed a fall guy. They needed someone to lose that game for them, and now he doesn't have a job.
I agree. I don't want to see Greg Williams in another team, but good
Please
for him.
No.
Good for him. I don't want him to hurt any more NFL players, or try to anyway. But it's clear that the Jets are tanking on purpose. Can you really be like, oh yeah, we're going to fire Greg Williams right after that? Greg Williams has tons of suspect calls this year.
Yeah.
Maybe fire the whole coaching staff after they went 0-5.
Yeah.
You know?
How is the guy you fire not Adam Gase first?
Exactly. It definitely should be Adam Gase because he is the leader of that team. Yeah. He should be fired by now. But I understand. They don't want to get that head coach bump. They're tanking on purpose.
Yeah.
It's absolutely tanking on purpose.
It's obvious at this point.
Mm-hmm. They will have the best quarterback out of the draft next year, Trevor Lawrence.
That's something that was just eating at my heart, much like the officiating of this week. Go ahead, give me something now that your hat's on, now that I see the tinfoil shine.
Whew. Let's go first to my AFC Conspiracy Corner.
Okay.
You're not going to love it. You're not going to love it, Dallas.
Oh, I know. Just rip it off. I know what you're going to say.
The Patriots are going to roar back next year. Oh. The Patriots could go 16-0. No, the Patriots won't go 16-0, but the Patriots are going to roar back next year. I believe QB spot will definitely be changed next year. They either trade up for a QB. They're not really in a position where they can. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I don't think they're in a position where they can draft a solid QB. But I think even if they can't trade up for a QB, what about the return of Jimmy Garoppolo to come and take back his spot? His rightful heir to the throne coming to take Tom Brady's spot that should have been his.
I'm shaking my head no.
You shouldn't be. They had tons of opt-outs this year. Without all those opt-outs, that defense might be better than the Steelers this year. They're going to have a full off-season next year. I think next year, Bill might even win another Super Bowl. And I think if Bill does, or if he makes it to at least the AFC Championship, he retires.
I just want to take a moment before I bring up my next point to show it to you. And that's that there's no more New England Dynasty.
Wow, that's his next point. Well, I think we're going to be complete opposite on that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see next year because that is...
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I have one more. If I'm going to put a tiny little tinfoil hat on top of my tinfoil hat. Bill retires after he wins his next Super Bowl.
Wow.
And he comes back and he coaches the Jets. He returns to New York. Me? I'm not. I think that with the low amount of talent that they have at the New York Jets, they fail next season, even under a Trevor Lawrence dynasty that is 1 season long. And Bill Belichick maybe leaves for a year and returns to coach the team that he abandoned, the New York Jets, abandoned for good reason. This is a lot of tinfoil. There's a lot of tinfoil built in this hat. It's a sturdy hat of tinfoil, and I'm getting lots of signals from the mothership. But
I think I'm getting contact radiation or something because I'm starting to believe it.
You should have worn a bigger tinfoil hat. You don't have enough radiation protection and sunscreen.
You're beating me.
You can't get picked up by a tractor beam if you're wearing two tinfoil hats and sunscreen.
So maybe Bill Belichick goes to the Jets, but I don't think it's with another Super Bowl in hand.
I think he goes to the Jets, filling up starting another hand. They're already on another hand. What is he at, 6 right now?
I think he's at 6 Super Bowls.
I think he goes in there and he's like, Trevor Lawrence, your new number is 7 for each Super Bowl ring I have.
We're going to make you 8 next year.
We're going to make you number 8 next year because you're going to win another Super Bowl.
Well, I'm going to remember this moment, and we are going to touch up on this next season.
Okay.
I cannot wait.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Tell me your opposing opinion then, apparently.
Well, I think it's an unfortunate situation where Belichick is left with a corpse of a dynasty. When you have the two minds of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and maybe some cheating, people are going to suspect you are cheating, whether they did it or not. I mean, if you watch those two break down film, if you watch how they perform, it's something sports had not seen, and I don't know when we'll see it again.
Yeah.
They built a great team.
A 20-year dynasty.
Yes, and you just can't do that again. You can't do it a year later.
Not in the salary cap era.
Exactly, and the salary cap is going to take a hit next year. If they want to get another good quarterback, they're not going to get one that takes the Tom Brady pay cut.
Who knows? Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, we'll see, and if I can, honestly, I'd love to go to my next point off of that.
Yeah.
And that's to say that this next offseason is going to be a better quarterback gathering, maybe a casserole, if you will.
A quarterback casserole?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you have everything there. A pocket passer, mobile quarterbacks, journeymen.
Absolutely.
I mean, Phillip Rivers and Jacoby Brissett, they're not going to stay on the same roster. Andy Dalton, Dak Prescott, they're not going to stay on the same roster. Fitzmagic is gone. He's got a new home. I mean, those are all good guys that could be starters, and I'm going to get my little hat on top of my big hat now and say Aaron Rodgers is an off-season trade. Aaron Rodgers goes to the playoffs, and they get at least 1 first-round pick for him.
Oh, they got to get at least 2.
And a player.
And a player.
I'm talking a good player with years to come.
Where's your landing spot?
There's a few. I think if the Buccaneers want another experienced, great number 12 to just start taking snaps after the Tom Brady wasn't the flourishing romance they thought it would be. Bruce Arians is a genius. Aaron Rodgers is a genius. And I think they go well hand in hand.
I like that.
I mean, the Rams, if they can afford it, I know they're used to losing first-round picks, so more or less the same.
Well, if you don't mind me putting a third tinfoil hat on top of my other
Please,
two.
just stack them.
This is like a little nesting doll of tinfoil hats that I got here. I keep pulling them out, putting them on top. What if Aaron Rodgers, undefeated in Jerry World. Dak Prescott gets franchise tagged and traded. Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy unite and win a Super Bowl in Dallas.
And that is another great point. You have a head coach in there that obviously has a favorite quarterback. Is that franchise just going to let him make it the new Patriots? Packers?
Yeah.
It just seems to make sense that Aaron Rodgers' time in Green Bay is up, and he's not going to be more valuable the longer you hold on to him.
I don't think that's as tinfoil-y, if you will, as most people think it is. I think by at least next season, we might see an Aaron Rodgers trade for several picks, for a bounty at least.
Tom Brady is a Buccaneer, and Aaron Rodgers could be a Saint. Who knows?
Wow, I like that even more. Wow, that's a really good take. Is that all you got on that take?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, keeping with bandwagon tradition and everything that you might call me, is anyone ready for this? Are you ready for this, Dallas?
I'm trying to prepare myself.
Brace yourself, because you might fly through the wall behind you.
I'm sitting.
You could fall through the wall. I don't know. Let's just go with it. Cowboys are going to win the NFC East next year by a lot.
Woo!
It's red hot. We're going to trade down for lots of draft picks. We have to. We get a 4th overall pick. We trade it down for like a whole bounty's worth. Someone comes up and gets Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, whoever's left right there. Mike McCarthy will fix every single mistake. He'll button it up. Jerry will knock on his door, tell him, I'm taking one of your daughters, or you start calling plays better.
I wouldn't put it past Jerry.
I would not put it past him. I'm going to abduct them. They're living on my yacht until you fix my Cowboys. Not a bad life for the daughter.
No.
Little weird for Mike McCarthy. I can understand why he would fix the team's mistakes.
Yeah.
But let's get back down to reality. Besides kidnappings, this is his first year. Every coach's first year is always rough. I say give him at least 2 years unless you're Adam Gase. That's the only exception. That's the only exception. Bad offseason this year. Tons of players that did not make the final roster, such as HaHa Clinton-Dix, which is crazy because players like Donovan Wilson did. And you could chalk that up to maybe Mike McCarthy chose the wrong guy. It's the first year, and it's a weird offseason. It's a weird year. Everyone's been saying it already, but it's true. The reason why everyone's saying it is because it is a weird year. I see the Cowboys doing very well next year in free agency. I think we have an even better draft next year than we did this year. I say we continue to hit the nail on the hammer and continue down that track. I think the key to this is trade down for lots of picks, have a good draft pick again. Mike McCarthy fixes the mistakes he has this year with special teams calling and a couple other things that have kind of been suspect, especially in time management mode. And then good free agency. We come back, we roar back. Cowboys go at least 12-4, if not 13-4 or 13-3. Excuse me. Cowboys are going to be very good next year, and also Dak Prescott is the MVP, and they make it very deep in the playoffs.
It's a lot to take in. That's a lot.
And his ankle also gets MVA, most valuable ankle, comeback ankle of the year.
There we go. Comeback ankle of the year.
Actually, let me go back with my 4th tinfoil hat on top. Dak Prescott not only wins MVP, but also comeback player of the year.
I just need a second.
Mm-hmm. Take your time. I'll get some water while you're doing that. All good?
I still don't like Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
Your roadmap is set out well.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you do it, that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC least stays the least, except you guys. The Eagles don't have an answer unless Jalen Hurts somehow gets better. Washington might come back and at least have a positive record, but Dak was on pace for a MVP-like year.
Not that much tinfoil in this hat, huh?
Yeah, you might next week not have to have 1, 2, 3, 4 tinfoil hats on to say it, but
tinfoil hats, yeah.
I'm beginning to like the sound of it.
What if the AFC East that was once run by one team just transitions to the NFC. And the NFC East only has one team running the show, and that is the Cowboys. And all the other teams are lost in NFC least purgatory.
Who knows? Whether it's Dak with an MVP year, Aaron Rodgers having a reunion with Mike McCarthy, you have a good offense.
Yeah. I think you put Aaron Rodgers in that offense. I think Zeke starts humming for some reason. Everything starts changing and becomes a much better team in general. Real quick, I just want to update everyone on this Washington game. Really incredible. I was watching it while Dallas was actually reading one of his hot takes. Ben Roethlisberger threw an interception to Bostic, the linebacker for the Washington football team. The football team took the ball down after being up 3 and put another 3 on the board. Currently, it is 23-17, kicking off right now to the Pittsburgh Steelers with 17 seconds left. The 4-7 football team might beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well,
Steel curtain.
We might not be giving them enough credit. Looking forward to next year as we talk about your boys. Do they have any timeouts?
The Steelers have 0 timeouts. The Washington football team that I was getting less and less confident about as the week went on. We both picked them.
Yeah.
They look like they're going to win this.
Wow.
Yep.
And maybe the Bills will continue that upset roll. We might be looking at an 11-2 team in another week.
That's incredible. Well, let's go to our team's update. Let's go first to the Tennessee Double D Cups, the Tennessee Tits. Let's talk about them, Dallas. Talk about this last week. You deserve time.
I've had a lot of tough games to watch with my boys, my sweet, as you called them, the Tits. And I've seen a lot of boobs on the field. Just a lot of dumb guys.
As Megan from, what's her name? Megan from what show? Drake and Josh would say. They're being a bunch of boobs.
And it seems to always happen when the Browns come to town. I remember taking my lovely fiance to her first football game against the Browns, where we had at least a 3-possession score lead going into half. And we ruined it.
Yeah.
We lost that game, like we lost this game, in almost a complete reverse fashion, where we lost a lead the first time. We never had one this time, but we got so close.
Yeah.
It's not a game we had to win, but I would have liked it.
It would have been nice because it would have shown everyone that everyone knows the Titans are a good team, but it would have been like, okay, the Titans are like really good.
The Titans could make it for the playoffs long term.
And sorry to interrupt real quick. Football team did just win. Complete pass to, I believe, Chase Claypool. So Dallas and I were right. That's all. I guess that's all for this week now. I still have a few thoughts about the Titans, and we're going to talk about my boys again after my crazy conspiracy corner.
Short and sweet. It's a lot of the same mistakes, which is frustrating. We need defensive consistency. We're not utilizing safeties right. Ryan Tannehill continues to wow me. And Derrick Henry might not be MVP after last week, but he's still the best player on our team.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement that Derrick Henry is the key to the offense. However, I believe not only do they need to focus on Derrick Henry, but take some notes from the Browns. What did they do really well? Everyone thought this was going to be a run fest. It was just going to be runs. And at the end of the day, they focused on the pass attack. And I think that, if anything, the Titans have to take away from this that a run-first team that's also able to pass really well, which Ryan Tannehill can.
Yeah.
And if they utilize play action a lot, and especially in the first quarter, and get a huge lead, use that second quarter just to slow burn it and just let Derrick Henry pound and pound and pound, because he will continue to score. He gets better as the game goes on. That's how he works. I think that it's very important that they focus on a pass attack going into the playoffs, perfect it in these next few weeks, try to make sure they even out all the edges on that. And then obviously hire a defensive coordinator. It's too late to do one now. But maybe get some more defensive assistants. Maybe hire Greg Williams as a defensive assistant, or more favorably for me, like a Dan Quinn.
I'd much higher on Dan, but for the immediate need of the Titans, yes, I agree with you so much.
Nice.
It would turn what we did in the playoffs last year completely on its head, and I don't think people would expect that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's if a team like the Ravens wanted to go ahead and do something like that, I think it would be much as effective. You know, if they wanted to kind of switch what they've been doing all the way around. And who knows, maybe they'll take some notes from the Browns when they play them this week. But we'll have to see on them. Any other thoughts on your Titans before we move on?
No, I think we both fix them pretty well. I'm excited to hear how you fix your Cowboys.
Well, I am Captain Tank of the trade down division.
It's needed at this point.
You could call me General Tank of the trade down infantry. We're trading down these draft picks. Because you don't want to draft a corner in the top 4. It's not really worth it most of the time unless it's a Jalen Ramsey. There's no Jalen Ramsey this year. Patrick Surtain is my best corner thus far. I also like Gregory Rousseau if we get into the upper teens after the trade down. If we're stuck at that spot, I like Penei Sewell, but he's not necessarily the best offensive tackle that's going to be there, I don't think. I think that there's a couple other... I think there's at least one. Slater, I believe his name is. He's really good. We'll have to wait and see on the tackle thing, but I think if we get into the upper teens, a Patrick Surtain, a Gregory Rousseau, those are the people that we draft. I think that is our only option out of this year. And then, I'm keeping my tinfoil hat on. The Cowboys are going to win next year.
Yeah, it's not as unachievable as I think opponents in your division want to believe.
Yeah.
Dak was a huge asset that you'll more than likely get back next year.
Ankles intact.
Yeah. Already hobbling with Zeke on the sideline, I hear.
Already. Probably quicker than Zeke at this point.
Maybe you can bundle him up for a draft night special.
Yeah, and not to harp on Zeke or Jalen Smith, but I might be Captain Tank of the trade down division. But my secondary title is also President of the Trade Jalen Smith and Ezekiel Elliott Committee. They got to go. They are liabilities in 2 different aspects of the game. Jalen Smith has looked better. Zeke has not. It's just time. They're getting overpaid. Let's move on. See if any teams want to throw us a 7th rounder, throw us a 6th rounder. You know, we can replace those in the draft with some deep draft picks. See what we can't do about it. Get a couple linebackers. You know, use those later round picks for some offensive help potentially. But yeah, that's all I got on my boys.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think tank mode is best. Mm-hmm. You might not be able to take the East from the Giants at this point. And at that point, I'm not high on a lot of people in the draft. So
yeah, at least not the top 15.
Yeah, trade down.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. But I think that's all we got for this week.
Yeah, that puts it up nicely. I hope our teams listen to us this time.
Yeah.
Anything to get my boys better, my sweet tit boys, after that Brown whoop down.
Those Double D Titans, they're going to come back and they're going to roar back.
But that'll do it for us. The Buffalo game's kicking off now. Hopefully catch some of that tonight. And we'll definitely talk about it next week.